And this is a gyroplane.
And that is a brand new gyroplane that we designed last year.
Hang on, Raul. We're going to start this show right now as we speak. Hang on, don't lose that. Hi, I'm Ben Coleman, one of your hosts. I'm your anchor host for the Florida Aviation Network, coming to you live and in the clear here at the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. And we're here at Sun and Fun 51. More fun, turning up the fun in 51, if you will. And that is our motto for this year. And the Sun and Fun is such a dynamic place to be this time of year. And year-round they have programs going on here. The Aerospace Center for Excellence across the street from the Academy here, we're at the headquarters. And we need to remember that we're here to try and encourage not only the youth in aviation, but the parents of the youth in aviation, to give them that opportunity to get here and learn about something. And I was just talking to Raul. I'll introduce you to Raul, as a matter of fact, now. Raul Salazar.
Nice to see you again.
I'm going to call you doctor because you just are such a phenomenal presence in aviation.
Thank you.
Raul, we were talking earlier, and you got that spark for aviation at what age?
7, when I was 7 years old.
Okay. You got a late start because I started when I was 6.
Okay.
But the thing is, once they get that spark, what happens to a spark if you get a little bit of fuel and you fan it?
It become a big fire.
And you are a big fire. You're a flame at this thing. Raul, what are you doing in aviation right now?
Well, right now I'm teaching at FIT, commercial drone operations. We have 2 courses, and that gives you the minor on UAS, and I also a gyroplane fly instructor.
Wow. And Raul, look right in that camera right there. See 3? Number 2.
Now number 2.
Look right in number 2 and tell them that if they watch this show and program, the FAA has deemed that you will get live wings credit.
Oh yeah, and if you watch this one, you will get wings credit. You can go online, take a little test at the FAAsafety.gov with a few questions, and you will get the wings credit for this time.
And the special code word will be at the end of this program, but we're not supposed to tell you that, I don't think. But anyway, we just did, so we'll take it back.
Yeah.
We're live. Did I mention that we're live here?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Anything that happens here is live. But Raul, you mentioned drones.
Yes.
And also commercial opportunities. What do people do commercially with drones nowadays, and is there a market for it?
It is a market for it. The majority of the pilots that I know started in real estate, commercial real estate, or residential real estate, and taking pictures for some of those real estate agents. And but also then you got the ability to do videos, to work on film, commercials. One of the things that have become very important now is that some of the insurance company in Florida are using the drone to do roof inspections, especially for the insurance. Or when you have a hurricane or something happen, that is one of the things that you're going to see, drones flying over the roof, checking things out. To inspect the roof to see if it has any damage or something is not working correctly.
So Raul, if I get this right, I kind of like dealing with gadgets and toys and models and RCs, so I can go out and buy myself one of these nice drones and learn how to operate it, and then I can go and hire myself out. Just go to anybody and say, hey, you pay me this, I'll do this for you.
Well, to be able to do that, you have to have the certification, which is Part 107 from the FAA. So that means you're going to have to take a written test. And passing that written test is only, I think it's 70 questions. And when you pass, the minimum grade is 70. And then you become a Part 107 drone pilot, UAS.
And is that, do you have to stay current on that?
Yes, it's the same rules that you have as a pilot. Every 24 months, you will have to get your recurrence training. And it's online at the FAAsafety.gov, and it's free.
Well, it's no charge.
No charge.
You have to dedicate the time to get it.
That is true.
Okay.
That is what you're paying.
Raul, and the purpose of this certification is this just for the FAA or the feds to get into your background and have control on you, or what is the purpose of the certification?
No, the purpose is to be able to say that I'm going to charge for a service, and to be able to have records that you have done job for companies, for private individuals, for counties, for the state, things like in cities, and to be able to charge. And you're going to have a logbook, because now individuals are getting higher with their experience, what experience they have flying drones. So the important thing is to be able to take that test, and then you will be able to fly and charge money. If you try to do that with no certification, you're going to get in trouble with the FAA. With no certification, the only thing that you can do is recreational. And since December, the FAA is required for anybody who is going to fly as a recreational UAS, that is not only drones, but it could be RC helicopters, it could be RC planes, any of those things, to take a test that is called TRUST. And that test is free. It's not a test really, it's a online class that it takes probably 25 minutes, and it gives you all of the regulations that you need to know as an individual flying a drone or a UAS for recreation.
Raul, the purpose of this testing and certification is what?
Well, number one, to be safe while you're doing that operation, commercial operations. Number two, if it is the trust, is to be able to be safe, to understand as a recreational flyer where to fly, not to fly, what are the rules, what is the maximum altitude, what are the things that you can do and not do.
So you know the standards.
You know the standards, correct.
And once you sign on and say, okay, I will meet these standards, if you go outside of the box, you're a potential hazard.
Yes. And it's an interesting training course for the trust, because they give you a little certificate that you gotta laminate and keep with you, so you can fly anywhere, and because of those rules that you learn, you know where not to fly near an airport, if you have this, not to fly there, what are the things that you need to do. If you lose that little paper, you gotta take the test again, and you get another one, because they don't keep track of anything. The FAA is a free test, it's done by some AMA and some other institutions that are doing the free test. There is no charge for that test, and it's just for the purpose of educating the public.
Well, Raul, why does the number 400 feet stick in my mind when I'm talking about you?
That is the maximum altitude for UAS and recreation.
Okay, so 400 feet.
400 feet.
And that's above the ground?
Above the ground.
Okay, not from sea level.
Yep.
Okay. Raul, and I'm going to switch gears to something that I'm very, very interested in. And I've been a fixed wing mechanic, pilot, A&P for years, many years. Gyroplanes has got my attention. And you tell me about the Thunderbolt, and I wish we had more time. I'm going to have to drive folks, our viewers here, to go online, whatever browser you want to use, and pull up Thunderbolt, and what would be the keyword?
The is a gyroplane Thunderbolt.
Gyroplane Thunderbolt.
Yes, and the reason we chose that name is to honor one of the planes from World War II.
P-47.
Yeah.
The old Jug, I think.
It's also called. And it took a year and 3 months to develop and do the testing and put it up into the market. And the introduction was in September of last year at one of the Paris air show.
And Thunderbolt, and I know that we don't have a photo of it, but can you give us kind of a verbal specifications of the ins and outs of the machine? What weights, the speeds, the takeoff performance? It's
going to be under the LSA category, and one of the things that we ended up doing is that we look at some of the gyroplanes that were in the market, and we borrow the best things about each one of them. Mm-hmm. So we managed to create then a tandem gyroplane that is enclosed, but you have the ability when you buy the gyroplane, it's just one price. You can pick the color and the radio and transponder. It has the glass instrument. And what happened then is that it comes with two canopies. So you have a canopy for summer and a canopy for winter. So when you're in winter, you choose that canopy, and it has a little heater in the front that so you don't get cold while you're flying in a cold state.
Well, because you're in an open cockpit, so you're at the mercy of the elements.
If you are, this one is an enclosed. And the nice thing is the second canopy allows you then to remove the first one, put the second one, and it becomes an open cockpit.
Okay. Is there a maintenance entry that has to be done when you change those
No.
canopies?
No.
Okay. That's just owner, pilot operator discretion.
Yep.
Okay. And this being LSA, there's a certain amount of maintenance.
Well, it's under the LSA because of the weight, but it's an amateur experimental build.
Okay.
And we have the maximum weight is going to be 1320, which is the LSA. Now, when we get the Mosaic, it's a different story. We'll see where we're going to be when that happens. But the nice thing about the gyroplane is that the features are you're not sitting in the fuel tank as some of the other gyroplanes that are in the market. Mm-hmm. You have access to the storage pods from the inside. You don't have to go land, open the pods, get your things in and out, and close them again. So there's a lot of little things that we did that are different.
What type of takeoff and landing performance do you have on the Thunderbolt?
Well, it comes with a 915 engine, which is 141 horses.
The Rotax.
The Rotax. And the interesting thing about gyroplane, if you remember, maybe you don't remember, is that gyroplanes, depending on the amount of wind, the more wind you have, the less distance we'll use to take off. Mm-hmm. And the less distance we'll use to land. The less wind you have, the little longer your takeoff will be and land.
Give me some parameters, Raul. I'm talking about, I live on a 2,600 foot grass strip.
Okay.
What am I going to use? Wind's coming down the runway at 2-3 knots, not much.
Well, if it is no wind, usually if it is in a grass runway, it will take in between 600 to 700 feet to take off. If you have more wind, then it will take less. So, for example, at the airport where we are in Valkyria, no wind on runway 10, it will take 400 feet because it's asphalt. We don't have the
drag.
The drag of the grass. Mm-hmm. If you get more than 10, then you're going 200 or so, if you know how to take off correctly. Wow. If you go above 15, 20, you're now at 100. So I have taken off on 30 miles gusting wind head, and it has been probably 30 feet, 40 feet.
Okay, how about landing? If I want to land on a spot, how can I do that?
Well, by default, if you have no wind and you were trained correctly, you can land on the size of a tennis court.
Okay. How about aerobatics? Are these capable of doing any type of acro? Legally?
No. Well, you can do it only once if you're going to do a loop or a roll. Certain gyroplanes that some company have created may be able to do a loop. But you got to be careful depending on how you do it because you can unload the rotor and then will become a piano.
Well, and the whole thing is that there's certain limitations on all aircraft, and don't go out there and do something stupid. I mean, don't. Usually the last thing before somebody that augers in is watch this.
Take my beer, watch this.
Yeah. But we advocate safety and
all the time.
Just enjoy aviation. Don't go out there and do something stupid, really.
Yeah, and the thing that we're trying to do, number one, since I belong to the FAST team, one of the requests from the FISO in Orlando is to start creating additional and more presentation as what we did last year about safety on gyroplanes, emergency landings, takeoff, anything related to gyroplanes, as well as anything related to CFI, how to do certain training, how to make sure that you do a proficiency check right for a sport pilot correctly. So all of those things, we have been doing that for the last few years for the FAA. And it has been interesting because something has improved. You're always going to get some pilots that want to do what they want to do, But as a pilot, for example, you want to get your gyroplane add-on, so you can do it two ways. One will be the sport pilot. That means you're not going to use medical. And the nice thing about doing that is that you get trained by one instructor, and the second instructor will give you the proficiency check right based on the PTS. So that means he or she is going to spend some time with you doing the ground, making sure that you understand the regulations, the basic things that you need to do on the gyro aerodynamics and everything. And then the second part is like a check ride. You go and fly. It may take an hour, it may take a little bit more depending on the individual. But usually when we do the training, the majority of the CFIs that I know, we're doing an average of 100 landings in between 10 to 13 hours because the gyroplane has a tight pattern and it flies in between 500 to 800 feet at the airport. So depending how busy is the airport, then you can do more or less. And that is one of the important things that we do, that we try to make sure that not only the individual knows how to fly the gyroplane, but at the same time will know how to take off and land in all type of winds.
Raul, we want to take a picture and expose it to you and get you to tell us what this is. We're just going to go ahead and take it to program.
Oh, I know that picture.
Tell me, let's put it to program.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
That is a gyroplane that is the Argonne. I took that picture, by the way.
Oh, well, we found this special. We set this up just like we rehearsed it, okay?
Yeah.
Tell us about this, Ro.
This is a two-seater side-by-side. It's made in Poland by manufacturer Latsoni. And that gyroplane comes with a 915 and also the STI from H Performance that it has 155 horses. It's a very good gyro. The nicest thing, one of the nicest things about this gyro, like some of the other ones from Poland, is that the landing gear is very wide.
It looks wide.
So by default, it's 86.5 inches wide. And if you put the Tundra tire, it will get to 90 inches. So it's not like some of the other gyroplanes. As you know, you're going to find also in fixed wing that you have aircrafts that need a little more training than others because they have the little idiosyncrasies that they do. So with the some gyroplanes, you have landing gears that are 65. They're beautiful gyroplanes, but you got to get a little more training. With some other gyros, you will get 72, 86, or 90, or a little bit more than that.
Probably one of the things that's interesting about the gyroplane concept is not like a rotorcraft where you get into dynamic rollover. It's probably very rare that you get into a dynamic situation where you're going to actually hit
because
the ground.
you don't have hovering. Your rotor is not power. It's always in a rotation. So
receding and advancing.
Yep.
And it's one drives the other, and that's
right. And so you have the symmetry of lift. Because if you have wind, what is going to happen if the wind is 20 and you're spinning the rotor, let's say for the sake of this discussion, 50 miles an hour. So 50 plus 20 is 70, but on this side is retreating, you're going to have 50 minus 20. So you don't have the same lift and the same speed. So what is going to happen is that you get the symmetry of lift that it gives you the equal lift. Because one blade goes up and the other one goes down.
If we wanted to go and get more information, more detailed information, where would we go, the public?
One of the things that you have is the book from the FAA for rotorcraft from 2000. You got all the basic information there. And if you want to see different gyroplanes, you can also go to my website, which is bladesoverme.com.
Blades are me.
Blades over me.
Bladesoverme.com.
Yeah.
Bladesoverme.com. Okay. I think we said that enough. We usually say it 3 times. People
it's more than enough,
retain that, okay? Raul, we are going to start to wind this one down, but I noticed a distinct, maybe a slight accent in your English.
We're in trouble now.
No, what is your
My family came from Spain and Venezuela.
Okay.
So the accent that I have is a little mix in between Spanish and Italian, and then put it with English, forget it.
Well, I think that's so rich in our culture here in the United States, is to be able to have these different dialects.
Yep.
And even though English is the universal language in aviation,
right?
But we have varying degrees of aviation English.
Yes.
Sometimes it's difficult to pick up on the radio.
It's very difficult sometimes.
But the thing is just like us flying up in New York when they are barking out these orders, ATC says, "Do you hear how fast I'm talking?"
Yep.
That's how fast I listen.
Yes.
So the big thing is calm down, relax.
And
Raul,
listen.
thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you
We're
for
going to let you
taking-
get back out on the ramp and do what you do best. That's talking to people and seeing things going on.
Yep.
But we, and remember, you get Wings credit for this program.
Yep.
But hang on for that special secret password.
Correct.
To go on here. But I'm Ben Coleman, and we do have another. This is one more day. One more day. We'll see you next interview.